Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one, the Fijian Drua hosting the Hurricanes. Now, the Drua, they're an interesting side in the best possible way. You never know what you're going to get with a Fijian Drua performance. This game, it is absolutely bucketing down in Fiji for this matchup, and that could bring some very exciting rugby. They were defeated in Fiji by Moana Pacifica. They lost on the road just last week, but this side is determined to try and get their season back on track. They have in front of them the Hurricanes. They were able to win their first contest up against Moana Pacifica, so actually at this stage of the season, we've seen both of these sides play Moana, two very different results. The Canes looking dangerous, and their opening contest looking through at the starting lineup, starting with the Fijian Drua. It is here Reti Hatita, the front row, alongside Zaril Tongiatama and Masaki Donge as the number 3. Asoana Silasila slots it at 4, and unfortunately, there does bring a change here in the number 5 jersey. Now, Masaki Vothi, he is coming in due to the injury that we did see at Timo Mainavanua in just the most recent game, and hopefully not going to be out for too much time. Atonia Wanga in the number 6 jersey, Mutakai Murray and Ilia Thanakai he slots in as the 8. Frank Lamani and Isaiah Armstrong Ravula will be that 9 and 10 combination. Apeli Momo out on the left wing. In the midfield, it is Rabitu and also Samo Vodre. And then Georgie Nasova comes in on the right wing. That is rather than Porepate Loganamasi and Eliza Drua Sisi. He is there as the fullback option. Looking through at the Hurricanes, they've got Pauli Rakiti Stones moving into the starting lineup alongside Asafo Moa and Tavira Mafaleo. So we do see Xavier Numia making his way off the bench rather than starting here. Hugo Plummer and also the experienced Warner Durns when it comes to international games. Played a lot for Japan. Got his debut last week for the Hurricanes, looking to really make a statement throughout this upcoming season. Devin Flanders as the 6, Peter Larkai 7, and Braden Yossi at number 8. This is a dangerous loose forward trio. All 3 of them try-scoring threats for the Hurricanes here. Cam Roigard, he has been scoring a lot of tries throughout his last 5 games. He partners with Callum Harkin after that season-ending injury for Brett Cameron last week. FIJIAN Drua could have had a hat-trick, but he gave it away to Morby, who did manage to score himself the 3. He also moves to fullback in this contest. Balin Sullivan out on the right wing, and then Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor, they make up the midfield combo. But those are the starting lineups, ladies and gentlemen. Hello from FMG, says Jasmine. So hopefully you are enjoying that Chiefs developmental Crusaders developmental game. Do let me know the score, as I haven't actually seen any updates for that one as of yet. Good day, Hamish. Have a great weekend. Says Anthony. Same to you, of course. Plenty more taking place. We've got Super Rugby. We've got the URC also coming around the corner with a couple of South African derbies. I'm wearing my Canes beanie. Let's go to Canes, says K Slade. And there as well. But currently about 7 minutes away from the kickoff. Like I mentioned, the weather is not great in Fiji at the moment. Now, for all we know, the sun could come out in the second half, but I believe the field is a little bit flooded. It's possibly not going to be as smooth sailing as a couple of the games we've seen recently in Fiji, but at the same time, it's always awesome seeing these guys scoring tries, being able to slide in from 10 metres out. I think that Fiji will, like they've just said, their head coach has said here too, Fiji are going to go out there and have a little bit of fun, and hopefully they do just that. Can get it going, but looking through at the way that these two sides have gone so far throughout the season, as you can see, the Fijian Drua, they have played the additional game ahead of the Hurricanes. They were able to have a valiant effort up against Moana, although that is a game that they were expected to win. It was 40 points to 26 in favour of Moana Pacifica. They then went on the next week and a big loss there, Fiji. Waratahs beating them 36 points to 13, so continuing 3 years without an away win. And then that game up against Moana for the Hurricanes, 52 points to 10. They were dangerous in that game. We saw a couple Morby tries. In fact, we saw 3. We saw 2 for FIJIAN Drua. Braden Yossi looked dangerous. And they add Cam Roigard back into the starting lineup as well here alongside Harkin. He's got a lot of potential. Could be a long day. But the weather may be the equaling factor. And that's what makes this game so intriguing with how it sits. Do you think it will be a high-scoring game? I think if it wasn't for the weather, it would be probably going to be all right in terms of, like, I think we're going to see a few tries a half, but maybe not quite as many tries as potentially we could have seen had there not been the weather to deal with. Chiefs defending scrum, and Chiefs currently in their half about 10 metres from their goal line, and 14-0 for the Chiefs. And Hurricanes bench, says Tanner. They got some decent options. I'll move my arms in a little bit so that you can see the guys will be making their way off of the bench In this case, they have got Lucas Cashmore coming in. That was due to that injury that we saw last week at Cameron. Isaiah Walker, Leo Witty's there. Brad Shields, also Xavier Numia, rather than in the starting side-up. He will make his way off the bench, alongside also Natunani Punivai at number 23. They've actually got the picture of Duplessis Karifi as the build-up photo, but he is, of course, not playing in this match. Still away for that little bit longer. Bulla Hamish says, Nasoni, welcome in. Hope you are doing well and hope you are excited for this match. It is the first of 3 taking place for Super Rugby. We've got all 3 of them coming on the channel, and then alongside that, the 2 matches of the URC taking place after as well. But it is a rainy day. But that does not mean that it won't be raining tries out there. I am hopeful we're going to see, I'd say, at least 6 throughout the match. Somewhere around there feels about par, maybe even 10, to be fair. Because if the Hurricanes can really get this one going early, they don't plan on slowing down throughout the season. They have started with a hiss and a roar in their game up against Moana and would love nothing more than to make it back-to-back wins for this side. Warner Durnso, I'm curious to see how he goes. I feel like we didn't see that dangerous ball running that we are used to seeing from Warner Durns. And it's not a bad thing, but it's just something that was a bit different, the fact that we didn't see him having such a great crack at the line like we would see for Japan. We have got Chiefs try, 19-0, kick to come. So here's Jasmine. And there too, but Josh Morby, he slots in at number 15 after scoring himself 3 tries out on the wing last week. Sullivan goes into that wing spot. They had a few injuries to deal with, the Hurricanes, and that is including someone like a Ruben Love, who was still out for a bit longer. Also, we now see no Brett Cameron. And I think there was also, if I'm not wrong, another injury for the Hurricanes. Who do they have starting at 15 last week? I think he went down too. I'm going to have a quick look and make sure. It wasn't Ruben Love, and it also wasn't Harkin because he wasn't playing in last week's game. We'll look through at the injury news, and we'll probably notice him straight away. But for the Hurricanes, the list is relatively long at the moment. Kenny Naholo's only out for 1 to 3 more weeks, so that is a good sign. Harry Godfrey's out for the season. Ruben Love's out for another 3 to 5 weeks. Who was playing 15 last week? I can't even remember. It's not good, is it? The Batcats chucked their game away last night. Should have won. It was probably better to face South Africa in the semi-final than India. Anyway, if Pakistan and West Indies don't spoil the party, and that's the thing. There's still a lot that needs to happen for the Black Caps to go through. Particularly, they need whoever wins Pakistan versus Sri Lanka, if it is Pakistan, to not win by much. And I have to say that net run rate has dropped significantly. England's actually has dropped a little bit too after that close game up against the Kiwis. So, yeah, we'll know, I believe, actually, by the time the last URC game finishes for today, we'll know whether or not the Black Caps are through to the semi-finals or if they've missed out. When is kickoff? Kickoff is in 2 minutes' time. So, just about to get underway. Hi, everybody. It's only 5:30 a.m. here, says Bruce. So, yeah, nice early morning start for you in this contest. Few Hurricane supporters in the stands by the looks of it, but of course predominantly Drua supporters in the stands ready to watch their side in action. Waiting to see whether or not there is perhaps the first win of the season on the cards. Suffer more back for the Hurricanes, though, after his relatively long injury layoff of last season. To say he is the type of player that can just bulldoze over a try line if he needs to. One to keep a very close eye on for this Canes side. Geordie Barrett, he played 80 minutes last week. Had 5 from 6 off the kicking tee. That was after the injury of Cameron, who was picking the draw. I fear this is going to be a blowout, says Fergus. I think that the weather's, like I said, maybe a little bit of the equaling factor at the moment. Pakistan had to beat Sri Lanka by 62 runs or in 13 overs to deny New Zealand a semi-final spot. And see, that's possible. Because if Pakistan bat first, put 200 on the board and then can get rid of Sri Lanka for, that would be 138, right? That's more than doable. Definitely with how we saw Sri Lanka fall over in their last match. So I would not completely rule out Pakistan as of yet. Because they will have to come out absolutely firing. Because if we know that odds and kind of like the situation, they will definitely know it too. Here's our friend, says Clifford there. Welcome in. Rabitu. 118 minutes so far. He's had 3 line breaks, 4 defenders beat him. Will be one to keep an eye out for when it comes to this Fijian Drua side. Haven't seen a huge amount as of yet of Vakatawa in that number 12 jersey. Oh. Well, they've just actually said something interesting that I heard half of, which was to do with maybe the drinks breaks. I don't think they're going to have them every 20 minutes in this game by the sounds of it, but looking through at that injury list for the Fijian Drua, currently they have got Mesolami Dolokoto out with knee, Meli Tuni with a knee, Simeone Kuravuli out with a shoulder injury, Asia Nawai with his leg, Ponepati Loganamasi with his hip, and then also Timo Mayanavavanua with his knee as well. Bro, do you ever sleep? A little bit. I managed to sleep last night. I did actually miss that New Zealand versus England game live because of getting a bit of sleep before junior cricket. Here's our friend. And why the hell do they have to do this? It is just a mutual, I think they do it every year that the Hurricanes go to Fiji. So I feel like it's something that does take place, not so much just up against the Hurricanes, but the occasional New Zealand versus Fijian Drua battle. We have seen before, but Lamani at the front. Looking forward to the challenge here. The field looks soft and chopped up already. Yeah, it's not a nice day. It has been absolutely downpouring, and the field was half by flooded before from the looks of it. So, yeah, don't expect a quick-paced game, I'd say. Like, there'll still be the offloads. There'll still be things that make this game relatively quick. But at the same time, you just get that feeling like it's going to be very hard to get a good bit of acceleration going. Ben O'Keefe, as the referee, says Kiwi Robin. Also, we got the good morning. Did you see the low score game last night? Says Mohadim. Which low score game are we talking? Are we talking URC? We talking Super Rugby? We talking cricket? We'll need a little bit more information in that case. I assume you're talking URC, Cardiff Leinster maybe, from looking at that. And the Rugby World Cup 2027 final referee. I said referee, says Kiwi Robin. Yes, URC, says Mohadim. Yeah, I didn't actually watch that game, but I'll have to give it a look. All low kick attempted there from the Hurricanes. Seems like already the tactics playing in these wet conditions have started. The Fijian Drua, they have position just on their 22-metre line. Big up, says Broderick there. And good evening, Hamish. Dan Moana Pacifica with another unfortunate loss. We have to give credit to the Force. And they showed up last week. As you know, I'll be supporting my Satyrs against the Chiefs. That's going to be a good game too. And I am thoroughly looking forward to it, but I feel like it's also not going to be the same game that people are expecting, if that makes sense, just because the Crusaders at the moment are pretty unpredictable for the start of this game, or start of this season, sorry. Now the ball in the hands of the Canes, currently sitting 40 metres out from the Fijian Drua line. Geordie Barrett decides to kick this ball aerial, and a nice take of the mark inside of the 22 for Eliza Drua Sisi. This is why we shouldn't play field games in Fiji. This field looks bad. The field would look bad anywhere had it had this much rain. So I feel like you can't just go, okay, we're not going to play any games for a team's home country because of rain. And can Chiefs play in the rain? They're normally not too bad in the rainy conditions. Nicely taken by Geordie Barrett, at least slapping it back onto the Cane side. Currently 30 metres out from the line. Peter Larkai going across to the right-hand side. Balin Sullivan. And not true hammock, says Mega. Not true. What's not true? And Highlanders got robbed last night, says Queenstown. Did they? I mean, don't get me wrong. They had a few decisions go against them, but they also played a very one-dimensional game of rugby. Hamish, haven't you heard of drainage? Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, but you still see flooded fields. Like, the amount of rain that has fallen quickly is, like, it's pretty difficult to get it to drain. And to be fair, the water will go away a little bit as this match progresses once the rain does stop. And we have got there, when do they cancel a game? Normally they don't. If you have lightning, you have a bit of a delay. There is a knock-on there from the Hurricanes, so it is going to be the scrum feed here for the Fijian Drua. If rain hard, no. If it's raining hard, they don't normally call off a game unless someone's drowned. Like, that's normally, I'd say, a good sign that there's too much rain, but that doesn't happen. Not in these rugby matches anyway. Usually referees retire after refereeing the Rugby World Cup final, says Clifford. Now, ball's going to be fed in by Frank Lamani. Now Isaiah Armstrong Ravula kicking this one downfield. Alan Sullivan passes across to Josh Morby. This one's going into the 22. It almost gets a little bit of a puddle on its way down. And that one is kicked in a touch. Good kick downfield. How are you? You ready for today? Oh, I'm excited for today. We've got about 11 hours of streaming that is coming up. But the field would be damaged by that point, says Kiwi Rob. I feel like it's not that big of a deal, though. I don't think either of these two sides mind the fact that the field's a little bit muddy. In fact, it probably proves more so their skills if they do well in these rainy conditions. Now ball's there, Frank Lamani going off to the right-hand side. Was your cricket game cancelled? No, they're playing currently. I think they may have won by now, though. A nice run forward from Lamani. Gets it off to Rabitu. Now, Tanakai Vata advantage and play for the Fijian Drua. And morning, Hamish. Did you get my biltong and rice cakes I sent? I did not. Not that I know of, anyway. Unless they arrived later. Going off to the right, Lamani goes to Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. Kicking in behind. That sounded like advantage is still in play. Yes, it is. They will go back for the penalty to the Fijian Drua. Armstrong put weight on. Where is he? Maybe a little bit. He looks a bit more bulky than last year. He's also wearing the headgear now, which I don't know whether or not that is maybe because he wants to get into that contact that little bit more. We have got there Chiefs vs Crusaders, going to be game of the week, especially since these two sides faced off in the final last year. So the Chiefs will come into this looking for revenge, and the Crusaders will be determined to get the win. No, it's not. So which game is game of the week, in your opinion, Kiwi Rob? Because I would say the two games we've seen so far haven't been. I feel like it's still well and truly open and up for grabs. Looks like they're going to go for the 3 points here, the Fijian Drua. So I want to ask you something. Did you see England won against New Zealand? So is New Zealand out? New Zealand aren't out yet, but if Pakistan win by a big margin, New Zealand would be knocked out. Armstrong Ravula. Ready to line this one up. England beats All Blacks and Black Caps in history. And game of the week's going to be the two South African derbies. I really hope it's better than last week's game, though. Because honestly, and this is going to sound a bit harsh, but wasn't it? It was Lions versus Sharks, right? Last week. That was one of the worst games of the URC I had seen. And I was very happy to see the Six Nations come around after that one. Normally, the South African derbies are great. And they're back and forth and they're like skillful, but that game just was so poor from both sides when it came to handling that it almost made the second half unwatchable. So I'm really fingers crossed that these upcoming games live up to those normal expectations of the sides going head-to-head. And Arvo Hamster. So here's Jared there. I think if you kick it away, advantage should be over, says Kiwi Rob. Depends on the type of advantage. Normally, if it's a knock-on, they'll get rid of it. But if it's a penalty, normally they rule that as going back. We have got the pretty good blockbuster games tonight. Did you see the Leinster game today? I saw the score. I haven't seen what happened in that contest, but hopefully the South African derbies are a bit higher scoring than that. We have got there Braden Yossi going to make the All Blacks this year, or got to make the All Blacks. So who do you put him in for? It's the tricky one. FIJIAN Drua kicking this one in behind, trying to show off some pace, although it's very hard to deal with. Oh, Isaiah Armstrong Ravula pushed into touch. Flanders thought about going quickly, but they'll hang on to it. FIJIAN Drua with a great chase after that ball. I think Braden Yossi is not playing 8 today. That kind of looked like Flanders was in the 8 jersey to me. I just saved. I got a big date tonight, says Jared. Well, good luck with that, of course. Overthrown line out there from the Hurricanes and the kick downfield from the Fijian Drua. Again, it's going to be a foot race. It's inside of the 22 for Cam Roygaard. Sets it up on his left boot and kicks this one downfield. 8 on the cricket game tomorrow, South Africa versus Zimbabwe. Not sure yet. We'll wait and see. It depends on what time I get home, because I have now got some plans for the evening tomorrow. And we have got there up the Northland win streak. Will continue. Hopefully Southland improves, says Hobbit. Now thrown in. Vothe takes it nicely, but Lomani knocks it on at the back. Oh no, interference. They've actually said there was a play at the arm from the Hurricanes. The penalty will go the way of the Fijian Drua once more. That is against Flanders. Oh no, that is a 6 on his back. It's just the way that the writing is, it makes it look like it's an 8. When it's evening by you, currently we are sitting 4:45 p.m. So we've still got a few more hours till it gets to evening for us. And 3-0 Tosa Drua. Yeah, taking those early points could be crucial in a game like this. Don't wear black jeans and sit in. Don't wear black jeans and sit in. What's that for? It's a big squad for the South African tour. But Braden Yossi over Christian Leo Willie. Oh, in the sun. Okay, I get you now. So are you going out tonight or tomorrow night? Tomorrow night. Now thrown in. Oh, slap there from Warner Dearns. Gets it back onto the side of the Hurricanes. Have controlled it 25 metres out from their line. Any try scorer tonight for the next game? Any try scorer? I'd like to think we'd see a few tries between the Chiefs and the Crusaders. If we don't, then it would be rather unfortunate. Now around the halfway line, missed tackle from Warner Dearns. He was slipping and sliding all over the place. And now on the halfway line, Fihi Whinianofo with the tackle. Now Motikai Murray hits it up. I didn't watch the game either, bro, but 8-7 is crazy work. Yeah, I don't know what the conditions were like. Maybe it was a rainy game or something, but yeah, normally you'd see a lot more from both of those sides. Although we've got to remember, both teams would have been missing their internationals, right? So it would have been more like the Leinster B versus Cardiff B, in which case, I guess it probably makes a bit more sense. Gerbro says, Chris. Oh, that's a tough take for Callum Harkin. Done very nicely, though. Now kicking it down the wing. Ball sits up into the hands of the Fijian Drua. Eliza Drua Sisi driven backwards. That's almost called as a rolling maul. And the ball's still on the side of the Drua. Now, how are your parents? They're doing all right. They're out golfing at the moment, I believe. I hope to get lucky, if you know what I mean, Hammy, says Jared. I think I do, yes. So hopefully it goes well. Where are you taking it? Now Geordie Barrett. Pick and go from Billy Proctor. That looked like a knock-on the ground. Fijian Drua, though, jumping in off the feet, so they will get penalised there. Cam Roygar takes the quick tap, realising that it's a tough day at the office for the line-out. Polri Stones. Ball's gone through his hands, and it's just pretty much pulled up. Now Yossi tries the fin, tackled a little bit high from Tuedraki Samo Vorre. Now Mafaleo into the park. You're dreaming if you think the Chiefs can score 60. Says Kiwi Rob. You still haven't told me which game's supposed to be the game of the weekend, Kiwi Rob. You said to the fella that Chiefs Crusaders wasn't going to be, but you haven't given an example of what is going to be the match of the weekend. Polri Stones hits it up again. The shoulder was Warner Dearns. Geordie Barrett offloads. That's a hard hit on him, getting his spine rearranged. Now popped up to Dearns. There's a bit of a history with some of these Fijian Drua players. Played them internationally. The Pacific Nations Cup not too long ago. That ball's gone backwards. Still going to be available for Roy Guard. That's played on the ground from Fiji, quite obviously. And quick tap taken again, this time by Billy Proctor. He's got a couple with him. He's 2 metres short. Could clean out there on the breakdown from Barrett to Vita Mafaleo. Goes across Harkin. Skip past a Fihi Whinianofo. And it's another try for him. And it's try scoring streak. That is very nicely done. For the for the Hurricanes, I should say. And I picked the Brumbies to put 50 on the Crusaders. I don't miss, says a sporting Kiwi. And playing in these conditions were always fun in school, slower but fun, says LB. Yeah, I don't think either of these sides will mind these conditions too much. The only thing that tricks them every once in a while is how quickly the ball just stops. And a nice finish from Fihi Whinianofo there. Showing off that skill with the wide cutout pass from Harkin. And I like it's a messy game. And Hamish, what have I missed? You've just missed the try from Fihi Whinianofo and then also the early 3 taken by the Fijian Drua. Not an easy kick out wide here. He's going to give it a decent crack. And it's coming round a little bit for Barrett, but just stays out to the side. 5 points to 3 now. And Stormers game is game of the week. Hopefully, it is a good game. I'm thinking Ty, and she can pay. Would that be okay, Ham? I mean, is she paying for hers or is she paying for yours as well? Now Roigard. Onto the right-hand side, finds the hands of Tavera Mafaleo. Bit of pressure here. And the breakdown on Roigard. Looks like right next to it is Hireti Hatita. Oh, Frank Lamani gets the charge down. Nicely done by the Fijian 9. Proctor back up to his feet. At the moment, every collision has a little bit of extra on it due to the slipperiness. I see the name of Waikato Stadium is going to go back to being called Rugby Park. So does that mean that FMG aren't sponsoring as the main sponsor anymore? Oh, accidental offside, so that is going to be now a free kick to the FIJIAN DRUA. So where are the Chiefs from? They are from Waikato. Horirikane Stones, the man who has the free kick against them. It's a bad defence from the Drua. Yeah, although it's tricky when you're just out from your goal line. The Hurricanes had a lot of decent options there. Definitely with the fact that Billy Proctor took the quick tap, so they weren't quite set. Which I think was smart play from Proctor. Who's the referee? Ben O'Keefe in charge of this one. Now going short side here for the FIJIAN DRUA. Lamani trying to call. Oh, yeah, he's tried to milk that. He's going to get the penalty advantage, but I think Ben O'Keefe is going to have a stern word to him and say, listen, we're not doing that anymore. It's going to be offside. Pass was going to a player. I don't think Lamani had any intention of passing to anyone but Horirikane Stones there, but it does earn the penalty. And Toso Drua Toso. And also we have got the 19-3 as the halftime scores, says Josiah. So I assume that's in favour of the Hurricanes then. A line-out throw for Zarel Tongiatama. Quite a skill of getting over the try line himself with that rolling maul of the FIJIAN DRUA. They've also got some dangerous options in the back line. Someone like a Georgie Nasova. Showing what he can do on the 7 circuit. Now with the FIJIAN DRUA, I think they're going to try and use their backline here. No, in fact, Lamani goes with a pick and go by himself. It's a risky tactic in these wet conditions. Ball's going to still be on the side of the FIJIAN DRUA. 3 metres out from the line. They have a lot of players all begging to get this ball. Zarel Tongiatama dragged down just short by about 1 metre once more. Lamani looking to shift it out wide. Isaiah Armstrong Rafuli, he kind of needed to pass that one, but he decided to go himself, and the ball's been knocked out of his hands, but he was grounded. So they'll go back for the penalty to the Drua. FMG isn't the sponsor anymore, says the Sporting Kiwi. What is the South Africa cricket game? It's them versus Zimbabwe. And also, what time is the Stormers? They are playing at 4 a.m. New Zealand time. I wonder if the White Ferns will be at the game. Smiley Pennifold, if she wants to play disc golf. I have no idea what that reference is. And I missed Rugby Challenge 3, says K Slade. And where can we watch it live? If you're in Fiji, I believe it's on Sky Sport Pacific. If you're in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport. If you're in Australia, it's on Stan Sport. And I think if you're outside of those regions, it may be on Rugby Pass on YouTube. Now, earlier, Tanakai Vata gets the offload away. He's gone for the try, but he's dropped the ball there just short of the line for Samu Vorre. And the Hurricanes are able to kick this one downfield. Cleaning up at the back now with Rabitu. And I'm back, says Ange. Welcome back. I have 2G on the Hurricanes to win both individual halves at $1.90. Well, that's a risk. Definitely, did you know it was wet conditions when you put the bet on, William? Problem with my face is that I like spicy. It might cause issues a bit later. Wink, wink, ham. Says Jared, so surely you just don't have spicy food then, right? I want to show the game. Says Akanisifo. Is it like you're going to show it on your channel? With you saying you want to show it. And good going, Willie. And go the Drua, go. Easy one for the Hurricanes, or tough match. Might be tough because of conditions. It is pretty flooded on the field at the moment, so possibly no longer as one-sided as some anticipated. They should still do what you think they should, but it might be a little bit more challenging, just for these early stages when the two sides get used to the way that it's going to play. Roigard goes across there to Geordie Barrett, quick hands from Proctor, cross-kick attempted from Callum Harkin. Fihifina Norfo was just caught on his heels a little bit there. Going to go back for the side entrance. Okay, 2 drawer in the side of the maul. That is Zarel Tongiatama. Hey, I'm thinking it should be an easy W, bro. If they play like they did last week, they should get going nicely here. But yeah, it's just whether or not the conditions have those couple handling errors. We've already seen the Fijian Drua blow an opportunity to score due to the wetness. We have got the Crusaders 50-10. Would be a big score. We won't see the live. Okay, I get you. Rather than you showing it, you want me to show it. But sadly, it's illegal for me to show it. But it is on Sky Pacific. It's on Sky Sport, on Stan Sport, on Super Sport. Anything with sport in the name pretty much is showing this game. Safua more now with the line out here, 20 metres out from the Fijian Drua line. Nicely taken by Flanders. Every time I see him, that number 6 on his back looks more and more like an 8. Told to use it once, breaking off the short side, put a Safua more, quick hands, Roigard, trying to slap it back. Harkin does take it, but he's on his knees. Wasn't able to get any sort of momentum flowing. I got it on Rugby Pass. So here's Robert. And the live, yeah, it's on those options that I just mentioned. Roigard moving it away to the left-hand side. Callum Harkin looking for the cross kick again. Does find FIJIAN Droa's hands. Looks for the offload on the outside at Josh Morby. Close to the sideline, knock on from FIJIAN Drua. It looks like they're going to say play on though. In fact, it's a knock on from the Fijian Drua. Now offloaded again. Nicely done here. Quick hands from the Hurricanes. 10 metres out from the line. The ball's loose. It's picked up by the Drua and booted downfield from Lamani. Where they watch the game in South Africa. I believe it's on Super Sport. As the main broadcaster there, Balin Sullivan. Now kicking this one downfield. Looking for the 50-22, but it goes straight into the hands of Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. Now going high with the boot once more. Not going to be an easy one to take in these wet, slippery conditions, but Roigard receives that pass from Harkin. Barrett chipping it in behind, and they'll go back now for the penalty. What was the Crusaders score last week? Where did they play? They did play in Christchurch. They lost 52-26, I think was the score in that one. Offside against the Fijian Drua, big crowd. It's quite an impressive crowd with the weather, the way that it is. Like 20 minutes into this game, it is still, I believe, showing a few signs of a little bit of rain. But the side seem happy enough. The crowd seems happy enough having to deal with the conditions the way that they are. One's going to be booted into touch. Oh no, because of the heat, we've actually got a 3-minute drinks break now. 3-minute water break. Let me see it there for the Fijian Drua. Just a couple players not quite retreating there. We have got there, mate, did the cat whack you on the eye? No, my cat's dead. So he's not the one who whacked me. Currently halfway through this first half. 3 minutes still remaining here of the water break, or maybe closer to the 2 minutes now. This is the Hurricanes' first visit to Latoka's Churchill Park. They have played a few times in other locations in Fiji, but not this one. Starting the game not too bad, 5 points to 3, the way that it does currently sit. Maybe a few more tries on the cards. Tupasi Karifi running the water for the team today. Currently 48% possession for the Canes and 51% territory. So actually pretty 50-50. Meters made and carries are almost identical. The difference is the clean breaks. Do you have animals? I did, but not now. Turnovers conceded 4 and 4. Handling errors 2 and 2. Penalties conceded 4 and 4. So it's actually extremely even according to the statistics. The big difference maker though has been those clean breaks. They should do Super Round in Fiji next year. I'd like to see it. I think they should have a sevens league in Fiji as well, but they haven't really done that as of yet. What's the temp there? How come they get in a break, says LB? It is because, where are they? They're in Latoka at the moment. I'll have a quick look. But I think they're looking at mid-30s or maybe mid-20s with a lot of humidity. And normally they do have the ruling for World Rugby that if it is a certain temperature, they do have to have these breaks. Latoka at the moment, it's 27 degrees with high humidity. So, yeah, that's why they're having the break. 87% humidity. And we have there Dan Carter. Who's your AB's GOAT? It's a tricky one because it depends on what area you're talking to. If this was in Wellington, I'd back the Canes by 25 to 30, but in Fiji, I think it's almost a 50-50 game. Yeah, it can change a lot, and definitely with the weather too, the way that it does sit. Because they soft. Well, they just have to do it. World Rugby have got the guidelines that they have to follow. How do you think Georgie Nasova will perform? I think if he gets his hands on the ball, he's scoring a try. But he hasn't actually had the position yet. On the Under-20 World Cup in June, Springboks 30 and Georgia 5. We'll probably give it a look as long as it doesn't overlap with anything else. The game's happening in Latoka, quite humid. Says Maureen Chan there. So yeah, the hotter that it's supposed to be. And the crazy thing is, it's humid and it's raining as well. So like, it's going to be a bit brutal out there. Both sides will fatigue as this match wears on. So I think they'll be more than happy to have those 3-minute drinks breaks in between. How about just a mo for Chiefs vs Crusaders? As in like on my face. We've tried just the mo before. I've had it a few times on the channel. Now looking for the rolling maul here. Looks like right through the middle for Soana Silla. Although breaking off the back now is a Safwa Moore. 10 metres out from the line here for the Hurricanes. Bit of luck, guy. Waiting for this one, but he doesn't get the pass instead. Poldy Dackety Stones for about his 5th carry of the match, I should mention. He's been busy early on. Man getting the opportunity in the 1 jersey. Devon Flanders chopped down. Back across to the right. I've hardly seen Braden Yossi so far in this game. You wonder whereabouts he is waiting, perhaps out on a wing. Waiting for the chance to be able to get the try. Now Devon Flanders tries the shuffle. He's dragged down again. Roygaard looking off to Warner Durns. Only such a dangerous try-scoring option for Japan. Haven't seen him cross the line as of yet for the Canes. Now back line. Here it comes. Moving it on. It's going to be well claimed by Morby. Looks like it's gone backwards. Right, there's Braden Yossi. I was starting to think that maybe he wasn't even playing in this game. With the lack of ball that man has had. Definitely after the way that he carried last week up against Moana Pacifica. But here's Braden Yossi now with his first carry of the game. At least the first that we have noticed. Cam Roygaard tries the step, runs into Zaril Tongiatama. Are you looking forward to the rugby with no scrums? It's a bit interesting with the amount of changes. Like, I feel like scrums at times can feel a bit tedious. But at the same time, I feel like you still got to have them. Advantage for offside here. Only a few metres out from the try line now for the Canes. Devon Flanders, pick and go from him, drag down. Oh, Yossi thought about going for it. Instead, Roygaard's going in behind. Still 3 metres out. A Safwa. Oh, what's he done there? He's actually fallen over the breakdown, so they go back for the penalty. Looks like a quick tap could be on the cards here for Cam Roygaard. Does he want to do it? He thought about it, decides against it. I think they'll go scrum. How the heck are you? I'm doing very well, Justin. Hopefully you're doing well too. I feel the win's coming for the Hurricanes. And TV change now. Fiji at $7 to win, says Clifford. And Canes, for a straight win, was paying $1.18, which isn't much. So it's a pretty safe bet. Canes by 7.5 was paying $1.45. Oh, now Yossi, 5 metres away from the try line again. The Hurricanes in a very good position on the field. Great quick hands to Geordie Barrett by Flanders. Now pick and go. Again, just short. New advantage. Roygaard, oh, he's tried to jump over the top. He's been absolutely slam dunked by the FIJIAN DRUA defence. Little bit of a counter ruck there too. Penalty awarded to the Canes once more. Right, Billy Proctor takes the tap, but he wasn't on the mark. Who's the coach of the Canes? It is Clark Laidlaw. Are you having cravings for the Nations Championship? I assume we're talking the Rugby League, right? I am looking forward to the Rugby World Cup when it comes around, although the Pacific Nations Cup, also looking forward to that. Believe it is happening in July. And I mentioned the lads, how's life in the fast lane? Yeah, it's not too bad. We've got a lot of streaming coming up. We've still got 13 hours worth, well, not really 13 hours of streaming, about 10 hours of that time I think will be streamed. Maybe a bit more. Is Corey Jane still in the coaching box? He is indeed, yep. He'll be happy enough with what's happening here, although he'd like his side to get another try. Just have a bit of a reward for the amount of time that they have spent on attack. Safwa Moore ready to throw this ball in for the line out. Taken by Warner Durns. It's a well-set maul. It's going to be very hard to drag down for the Fijian Drua. Safwa Moore waiting at the back. It looks like this one is going to stop. They've been told to use it once. It's a little bit risky. Who's got that ball? It's not actually with Safwa Moore. It's Peter Larkai who pops up with the try. It's very nicely done by Larkai, getting over in the midst of the rolling maul. I thought they were going to get it back to a sophomore, but never quite transferred. 9th of the career for Peter Lakai. I go on, surprise us all. Says Jared. And we have got there's Corey James. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? This commentary is bad. Is that me or like the commentary on the TV, Kiwi Rob? But we see it rolling there. Where was Lakai? I think Asafua Moore assumed that he was getting that ball back. And then eventually, just falling over the line for Lakai, scoring the try too. I'll be happy with how this one's going so far for the Hurricanes. I think Roigard was also hoping to get that one off the back. Raymond has said there, Hamish, your legend. Do appreciate you being here nice and early, Raymond. Plenty more coming up. Geordie Barrett currently the second highest for points in the Hurricanes. That one has gone just away to the side. So 2 unsuccessful kicks so far from the Canes, but 10 points to 3, the way that the scoreline sits. Shades of limp. Biscuit, keep rolling Maul, says Big Rig. And Sand Sports one. I'd assume it's the same as the one that we have here on Sky, I think. And Sand Sports commentary is always bad, says the Sporting Kiwi. Lakai gives a thumbs up. One of his teammates there will be happy to get over the line. Last week it was all Braden Yossi. When it came to tries being scored, that's going to be knocked on by Warner Derns. How much is Sky these days? A month? I think it's actually recently gone up to $60 a month now, rather than $55. Not gone from the draw, but we'll go back for the initial scrum. Are you live tomorrow? Some of tomorrow, early morning here in New Zealand, we will be live at 1:15 as well as 3:45, I believe. How's Geordie Barrett been going? I only just got here. He's had a couple decent runs. We've seen a lot more of Harkin, who's been going for a few skip passes, so we've seen it actually go over Barrett, but he's done some good work throughout the early stages, made a couple good tackles too. And 4 a.m. here. So here's Big Rig. On ball to be fed in by Frank Lamani. And it comes out the back. Oh, Lamani there. Now, thought about going for the wide cutout pass. Now passed across to the hands of Rabitu. Oh, it was almost a knock on, but it is going to be play on. Georgie Nasova is begging for the ball on the outside, but it's a knock on from Eliza Drua Sisi. It could have been the chance. 6-minute solar eclipse in August this year. Happened only once every 86 years, says Justin. There are a lot of things that are happening that are like once in ages when it comes to like the moon and stuff at the moment. Because wasn't there something not too long ago, like was it a lunar eclipse or something like that? That was like a once in 30 years thing. And then there was also that red moon that was a once in like 20 years. So there's a lot happening now that hasn't happened for a long time. And I don't know why. I don't know the fanciness of the astrology. We have got there Cam Roigard try against France in the second test last year. New Zealand was probably my favourite try of all time. Says K Slade. Looks like a bit of an injury here for Ezekiel Rabitu. And where can I watch this, Kyra? It depends on where you are in the world. It is available on Sky Sport here in New Zealand, Stan Sport in Australia, Super Sport in South Africa, Sky Pacific in Fiji, and then also Rugby Pass elsewhere. The moon is doing too much now, says Broderick. And now we see that change has been made. And Tabua Val makes his way on as the number 23 for the draw. And cold, rainy night in the UK. Yes, please, we want to watch the game, says Toka Saravula. So, yeah, those are your options, the ones that I just listed. Now, Roigard feeds the ball into the scrum. It's going to be holding strong. Roigard goes short side to Fehi Fenina Norfo. Offloads up to Yossi. Tries to bump off. The big change, though, early on in this game. All penalty goes the way of the Fijian Drua. It is due to that injury. It's great to be tuned into the great commentary and late night. For you, how did cricket go? My junior team did lose their game this morning. But I believe the team that I'm on won. Which is quite good news. Definitely because it is club day. So, like, everyone's supposed to be winning. But we didn't. There are so many illegal streaming sites for movies, TV shows, and sports, says K Slade. Good morning, Amish, says Daryl. Welcome in. There was a white tui found in Bay of Plenty for the first time a few months ago. Right. Did they like give it a name? I feel like everything that's like unique when it comes to animals has to be given a name. Warner Dearns played well last week. I wish Bro could play for New Zealand. Says Johnny Blaze. Yes, he was quite interesting though, the way that he played, because we hardly saw him carry the ball, did we? Last week, another knock on in favour of the Hurricanes, which is something that Warner Dearns does so well for Japan. Like, he's normally a real try-scoring threat, but they didn't really give him a chance for the Canes, unfortunately. Now, HURRICANES of Super will be kicking that ball high, chasing after it, running on. Big shot on Callum Harkin. Does throw that ball out the back to Roigard, who's under huge pressure now from the FIJIAN DRUA, jumping all over him, looking for the steal in the breakdown, and they've got it. Georgie Nasova tries to run forward. We have got there, love the Canes, love the Drua, may the best team win. And I'm back, says Ange, welcome back. Now going away to the left-hand side. Frank Lamani, a couple metres out there for Motakai. Murray gets back up to his feet and scores the try for the FIJIAN DRUA. They're back in the game now. And I believe not only are they going to be back in the game, this is going to make it 10-10, I would think. Motakai Murray, the good finish there from him. They're just saying there the chase from the kick made the big difference, and it certainly did. Georgie Nasova getting in that breakdown, winning the ball back for the Drua side. Hurricanes, they were still scrambling, and it was the missed tackle initially from Taveta Mafaleo. Just tried to go too low. And Motakai Murray gets back up and gets over for that first FIJIAN DRUA try. Tintin, you say that's a classic? And the crowd goes wild. And also we have got there, haven't they played the eligibility for Japan now? Where you actually got to be Japanese. Unless you played 30 tests prior to the rule change. I'm not too sure what their eligibility status is now. Don't care what anyone says. Barrett is a C grade 12. And also there is, this is the only year in about 100 years. We have 3 Friday the 13th. Says Justin, is that why we're having so many things with the moon then? Some sort of spooky voodoo. He's going to be the best game this weekend, I think. A couple metres out, Ilia Thunakaivata, close to his own goal line. Good chase from Billy Proctor. And the penalty won by the Canes. They have done exactly what we saw down the other end of the field. Proctor wants to take this tap. Although he accidentally kicked Thunakaivata, so he does apologise instead. I think this might be either scrum or line-out time. They did score off the last rolling maul, so perhaps that is the option. Roigard does point towards the corner. They say it, though, all the time. The Drua, they are such a momentum team, and they do something so well. And then straight away afterwards, the mistake comes that gives the other team a chance. Who scored the try for the FIJIAN DRUA? It was Motakai Murray in that number 7 jersey. Also, the game is available live on the moon and on the moon base and on the orbital base. Says Justin. My pet peeve is in modern and classic horror movies, let's split up. And it does happen all the time too, doesn't it? Right, looking for the transfer back to a Safwa more. The ball's dropped out. Cam Roigard, though, takes it nicely. He's close, but he's 1 metre out. They've got to release him there in the breakdown for the FIJIAN DRUA. Right. That looks like Warner Dearns. No, in fact, it's going to be Devon Flanders. Dragged down just short. Braden Yossi's lurking. If they don't end up going to him, I would be very surprised. They go over the top to Proctor, who slides in between the posts. And the Hurricanes get themselves another one. So that was all down to the Drua just making that one mistake. And it does end up hurting them. We have got there Tosa Drua Tosa. Says Vera Valu. Rugby's going to put 50 on the Blues, says the Sporting Kiwi. I'll leave the stream for 3 minutes and decide what happens, says Case Slade. Although you have come back and the Hurricanes have made it not tied anymore with the try. And just popped over the top from Geordie Barrett. Smart play. That kick has gone over. After 33 minutes now, 15 points to 10. If I was on the space station, I'd 100% play a game of 0G rugby of the other astronauts. That sounds awesome. And Chiefs 33, Crusaders 31. Okay, so going with a close game there. And let's go the Canes, says William. Kicked off short by Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. It's actually quite a cheeky kick. And it's worked out as the ball's gone back onto the side of the Fijian Drua. Chiefs 60, Crusaders 10. Says the Sporting Kiwi. So everyone's picking the Crusaders to go 3 games in a row playing poorly. Now Drua Sisi, 30 metres out. Lamani goes away to the left-hand side. And again with a skip pass. Now Wonga, that number 6 jersey for him today. I think that's his first time. He's touched the ball, no more tries for the Drua. Oh, if it was tied at halftime, knock on though from the Drua. Yeah, if it was tied at halftime, William, would that cancel out your bet? Or would they say if it's tied at halftime and then Hurricanes leading at full time, it still counts? I'd assume they'd take it away, right? And 22 points to 47 in favour of the Hurricanes. You're already 35 minutes down. It's gone quite quick for the start of this game. How many of the Drua team are in the international Fiji team? So, Hiritia Titas, Zaril Tongyatama, Donge, Nasilasila, Vothi. I think Wang has had some chances. Tanakai Vataras, Lamani, Armstrong, Ravola. Across their starting line, it's probably about 10. Although some of them aren't in the starting side for Fiji. And Chiefs 25, Crusaders 15. Big scrum. That ball's actually come out the same door that it went in. Callum Harkin booting it downfield. This one's going to pull up due to wet conditions. Hurricanes 36 to the 17. It's a prediction from Oram there. Now big awkward bouncing ball. Harkin claims it 22 metres out from his line. Kicks it into touch. That was Armstrong who did it. On the Apollo mission to the moon, we hit 2 golf balls. Jordy Barrett has so much potential. Says Justin. Are you playing him as a 12 or playing him in a 15 role? Justin, out of curiosity. Line out throw for Zaril Tongyatama. There was actually a big sideways step there. And line out time, but the ball is going to pop onto the side of the draw after the knock on from the Hurricanes. Now Matakai Murray. Tackle by Yossi. It can go from, it was number 23 to Boaval. How many minutes left? So another 3.5 minutes in this first half. Big fin from Antonio Wanga. Tackled by Flanders. Got back up and had a crack at it, but he has lost his footing in the process. It's going to be the advantage for the player being off his feet. Now Fijian Drua moving away to the right-hand side. So Flanders relatively slow getting up to his feet as well as Armstrong. Ravola went for the kick. But they were in front, so we'll go back for another penalty. The Black Caps need Jordy Barrett. Says the Sporting Kiwi. Yeah, he seems to go all right in the team rugby versus team cricket matches. It was already the second yawn of the day. That's not a good sign. We've still got till about 12 hours, 40 minutes remaining of streaming, roughly, in terms of the time. How good is it watching Safa collapse, though? Oh, sorry, Sada's collapse, I assume that is. I think that's auto-corrected for yourself. And how's the defence looking on both sides? They've been all right, definitely with the wet conditions. I feel like it's never going to be too easy to defend in a matchup like this with so much moisture around. Can you show us your video, please? Sadly, if I showed any match footage or audio, I would get taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike, banned for 3 months and potentially sued by World Rugby. But it is available on Sky Sports, Stan Sports, Super Sport, Sky Sport Pacific, and also Rugby Pass. Fiji has a population of less than 1 million people and only 100,000 men of rugby playing age. It's wild how good they are. Says Big Rig. Going to have a grapefruit flavoured Red Bull. Says the Sporting Kiwi. That kick has gone over from Armstrong Ravola, so that's going to make the score a little bit closer between these two sides. 13 points to 17 now, the way this halftime score sits. And who had the ball? It was the Fijian Drua, and then they did go back for the penalty. Armstrong Ravola adding the additional 3. Who have the advantage to score before halftime? I would now say the Hurricanes, because the Fijian Drua last time off the kickoff, they made a mistake. Callum Harkin going for the low grubber again. Taken inside of the 22 by Frank Lamani. Does kick it downfield, well controlled by the Canes inside of their own half. Josh Morby decides the up and under's the way to go. Haven't seen him anywhere near as involved throughout this match ever since moving to 15. There's a knock-on advantage now against the Canes. Lamani sneaks his way, throwing up the middle here. Big shot once more on him. And off to the left-hand side. Tackle's been made. My mum was born in Fiji. Says the sporting Kiwi. Now, 40. 30 seconds left of the half. FIJIAN DRUA. If they're strategic, they would have just hung on to that for a few more phases, but it looks like now it's going to be the kick back into the hands of the Canes. One last attacking chance for Geordie Barrett. Josh Morby, he's looking to kick this ball away once more. So that kind of took away any sort of attack that the Canes were going to have before the halftime break. I think the FIJIAN DRUA will score minimum 20 points. They should do, unless something drastic changes. Oh, that ball's going to stay in the field of play for Callum Harkin. He'll boot it out. And that's going to be halftime in this contest. 17 points to 13 between these two sides. Fijians are beautiful people. Very kind of big heart, says Johnny. And also, we did have there, must take them back. Club rugby playing on a field like that, says Albie. Or even just Super Rugby last year. We saw a couple of games being played on a field like this. It's normally a little bit of an equalising factor, which is good. Because I feel like it definitely tests a different skill set of this Hurricanes side as well. But this game's still close. 4 points separating the sides. I think there could still be a little bit left in this contest, though. A tight game, says Hobbit. If I wanted to, I could play for the Fiji cricket team. Well, there you go. Have you got a decent chance of making it? And who are the try scorers for the Hurricanes? So far throughout this game, we have seen the 3 tries being scored. We saw FIJIAN Norfolk score 1. Billy Proctor scored another, and Peter Larkai scored the other one too. And Auckland FC and Melbourne City, 0-0, says Clifford. And is this game being played in Fiji? Yep, so being played in Lautoka for this game, about 27 degrees Celsius for this matchup. I think the Hurricanes will increase the lead the second half. Says Big Rig Joe. Probably got a decent chance of doing it. But at the same time, if the Drua strike quick and feel like they've got a chance of getting back into this, who knows what will happen for the end of this one. But looking through in terms of the upcoming games, for not just these two sides, but just the competition in general. First of all, we'll look through at next week's contest. Moana Pacifica playing up against the Chiefs. That is going to be the game taking place at 7:05 on the Friday night. Waratahs going head-to-head with the Hurricanes as the late night game, and then the Highlanders versus the Force in the afternoon, followed by the Blues versus Crusaders, and then the Brumbies versus the Reds as the evening contest. For these sides specifically, though, the FIJIAN DRUA, they will not be playing next week. They have got the bye, and then they are going head-to-head with the Brumbies the week after. They then play the Reds, and then they play the Blues in 29 days' time. So a lighter March schedule for the FIJIAN DRUA, but of course they will still play the same amount of games as everyone by the end of it. For the Hurricanes, they have got their next game up against the Waratahs. They are then going head-to-head up against the Force, playing the Highlanders, and then playing the Reds, which is normally a pretty good game when the Hurricanes go head-to-head with this Red side. Very unpredictable in the best possible way. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens in that contest. But of course, do let me know what you guys think will happen in the next two games, as well as in the second half of this matchup. Still plenty more can happen. I do not think now the Black Cats will go no further. Wait, I do not think now the Black Cats will go no further. So you think they will advance, Kevin? Or you do think that they won't go any further? That one's a little bit of a double entendre there. And Tars ain't beating the Canes. Says K Slade. And Bulla and kia ora, Hamish. Says Vinny, welcome in. Second half of this game just around the corner from taking place. Also a big game coming up later on between the Chiefs and the Crusaders, followed by Brumbies versus Blues too. And please hit like and subscribe, says Robert. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more Super Rugby, as well as the URC, just around the corner. The Black Cats were winning comfortably, chucked it away. Says bad to the bone. Yeah, the fact that England came back and scored, what was it, 60 runs in the last 5 overs? Like, don't get me wrong. Most sides with like 60 off 36 would still back themselves to go close, but yeah, they just let it slip, the Black Caps, and now it may cost them their spot in the semi-finals. Could be Pakistan making their way through. But still a little bit of cricket to take place in terms of the Super 8 round. I think I would like to cover some of the T20 World Cup, and I know that I've said that the whole way through. But, yeah, hopefully we get to do some sort of it in terms of the semi-finals. And also, I believe the finals don't overlap. So that's great. And, yeah, we'll see what happens there. And halftime already. Yeah, it's flown by, this matchup. Theoretically, I'd say we've got another maybe 5 minutes of halftime. In fact, we'll just have a quick look. See when the half ended. Half ended about 5 minutes ago. So it might actually be closer to 10 minutes remaining of the halftime break. That'll get them back out on the field at around 5:35. And then 40 minutes, I'd say we're going to have like a decent-sized break between these two games. Of course, that Chiefs vs Crusaders game happening around the corner too. And then I know that not this weekend, next weekend. And not next weekend, the weekend after that. This is when the games are taking place. Now, that Saturday is going to be brutal because FIJIAN Drua play the Brumbies, Crusaders play the Highlanders, Reds play the Waratahs, and then there are 3 games of the Six Nations taking place back to back to back for the final round of that competition. So it's going to be a hectic one of about 6 live streams within around 18 hours or somewhere around there. But it should be a lot of fun because we will then know who've won the Six Nations. We know who's doing well in Super Rugby. And then we don't even get to sleep on the Sunday because there's more rugby. The Blues versus Moana taking place there too. I will go no further in the T20. Yeah, it's going to be reliant on what Sri Lanka are able to do. And if there was ever a game for them to win, to help out the Black Caps, it would be this one. Do you have daylight saving in New Zealand? We certainly do. I'll have a look when it is. When is daylight savings? I think it's coming up soon. Like within the next month or two. The first Sunday in April. So they go forward an hour at 2 a.m. Go back an hour at 3 a.m. in April. So yeah, we go from April 3 a.m. to 2 a.m. on that day. First Sunday of April though. That's normally a problem because we are normally live at the time that it takes place. What do we got this time? March, April, where are we? Oh, I think it's around to the Champions Cup. Maybe. I think it's also Easter around that same stage, but not too far away from the second half too, ladies and gents. Yeah, first weekend of April is... Yeah, it's going to be awkward because we're going to time travel on that 3 a.m. live stream a little bit, but those shouldn't overlap. New Zealand are pretty much already in the semis unless Pakistan can fluke a 60-run win against Sri Lanka. I wouldn't say that's a fluke though. Like Pakistan, yes, they've been a little bit up and down, but they've still got more than enough talent. If their top order fires and Sri Lanka don't, like, yeah, it could change things drastically. They're only $2.25 underdogs too, Sri Lanka in that case. But like Pakistan, they've scored 199 up against Namibia, 164 up against England. They also lost by a narrow margin up against the English. They got bowled out for 114 against India, 148, 190. So, you know, that would say that it shouldn't be like that likely. But then you look through what they did in the third T20 up against Australia at the start of February, winning it by 111 runs. And that still keeps you a little bit on the toes. I'll be stunned if France don't win the Six Nations. I would be very surprised too, just purely because of those bonus points that they managed to get for themselves. Pakistan have been bad, says bad to the bone. So if there was ever a time for them to knock New Zealand out of a T20 World Cup, it would be this game up against Sri Lanka, who have started the competition quite well, but I feel have slowly dropped off. You know, they scored 107 up against New Zealand. New Zealand beat them by 61 runs. So that would mean if New Zealand and Pakistan beat Sri Lanka by roughly the same, I think Pakistan would almost sneak through. I'm also eligible to play cricket in Lebanon. There you go. There's an opportunity in the future for you. And it is daylight savings now, says Jasmine. So yeah, it is ending first Sunday of April But yeah, Sri Lanka got bowled out for 95. They lost to Zimbabwe, but they beat Australia. And that's probably the big one. They also got 225 runs up against Oman. But yeah, they've definitely been up and down in terms of their form. So they could score anywhere between 90 runs and 220. Very hard to say. Hamish says first Sunday. Got it wrong. Says Daryl. But yeah, it's going to be an awkward one because there is the Champions Cup. Sri Lanka should win at home. Yeah, they got to give something to their crowd, don't they? But, I mean, also India need to make sure they win at home. Or else they could be missing out, which would be huge, really. Like, a tournament without India through at the semi-finals would be pretty insane. But it can happen if the West Indies do end up playing well. It's another game that I want to keep a close eye on and maybe even consider doing a little bit of commentary for. We'll wait and see. And Daylight Savings finishes in April, starts again late September. So here's Jasmine. And yeah, about Sri Lanka winning at home. But the good news is that Sri Lanka versus Pakistan game has taken place during the time that we're going to be live. Because we will have that game between the Bulls and the Sharks at that period. So we'll probably keep the updates flowing on that one too. Ban the box kick and ban Daylight Savings. So here's the Sporting Kiwi. Second half of this contest just around the corner. I will show you guys the bench a little bit bigger. There we go. These are the guys to make their way off the bench. We've already seen Tapulaval make his way on for the Fijian Drua due to that earlier injury that we saw of Izakeli Rabitu. Now that does leave Fines Leliawase as they did go with that 6-2 split, which does bring a lot of pressure onto the rest of the backs who are on the starting side as they will now have to stick it out for the rest of the contest. Iritara Inari for the Hurricanes still there as the opposite to Fines Leliawase. And then some pretty handy players across the forwards to still make their way onto the field. 1 second, we'll go like that. There we go. And go the draw, says Vinny. Your Daylight Savings does seem a bit archaic in the digital age. I hope the West Indies win and knock India out. Says bad to the bone. So I guess the question is, let's say theoretically, which of course no guarantees, let's say New Zealand win or go through to the semi-finals. Who would you rather have them play, South Africa or the West Indies? I feel like people would say the West Indies, but I don't trust the West Indies after they got, what was it up against Zimbabwe? About 250? Second highest T20 international score in a World Cup ever. Like, if they fire like that up against the Kiwis, or anyone to be fair, it'll be hard to beat them. But of course, that doesn't happen too often, because we also saw them get 176, which they did well to do, because South Africa were bowling very well in the early stages. I think it was about 80 for 6 or something like that. Then Jason Holder, he managed to stick it out for a little bit for them. Let's see now the change. Also, first half century for, what's his face? I've forgotten his name now, but he also got the hat trick for them in the end. I keep on thinking of Roach, but that's not his name. Do you think Fiji Sevens can win? As in next week, that is another thing that has taken place. I completely forgot to mention that. Sevens back in Vancouver. That's going to be hectic. Fiji should have a decent chance of being right up there. Pleasant weather here in Fiji, says Vinny. And Toso's Roa Toso. Many years back, they tried it in the Western Province for a summer, and it didn't take off. Not too sure why, says Daryl. Just talking about the exit off the kickoff, something that's crucial for these two sides in the second half. Where are we? We'll go down a little bit further. Vancouver is the 7th and 8th of March. The matches should almost... No, they haven't got the matches done yet. That's surprising, seeing as we're only a week away. But they do have the pools done for that competition. For the men's, it's going to be New Zealand, South Africa, Spain, and Great Britain in one group. Then Fiji, Australia, Argentina, France in the other. Hey, says, what's up, guys? Welcome in. Do you think Fiji Sevens can win both the upcoming tournaments? I don't think they'll win both. I think that one would be a good goal. Just with how competitive the Sevens circuit is at the moment, it's very difficult to get two back-to-back. We do see those Sevens guys in the stands, though. I see George Balsi there, Taria Vailawa. Who else is there? There's Manueli Maisama, or is he there? No, in fact, that's Filippo Bukayaro. Jeremiah Matana was there too. I didn't see Josefa Talatholo. I know that he ended up injured in the last leg of the Sevens, so I'm not actually too sure if he's going to be back or not. Shout out to Bodie and Petone. Whereabouts is Petone? I've never actually heard of Petone. Is it North Island of New Zealand? I'm going to have to Google it. Where is Petone? Lower Hutt. I've never heard of Petone. I wonder if I've been to Petone. I've been to Wellington. Not sure. Go the Canes. So there's Daryl there. Second half just about to start up. And I've spotted a Barrett in the stands by the looks of it. And Wellington says Scott Dawson. Wellington says Paul Henry. Me, the South Africa Blitzbox to win the next one and go to the top of the table, says Daryl. This one's going to be kicked off low and it forces the knock on from the Hurricanes right off the bat. Now the FIJIAN DRUA looking to fire it away to the right-hand side. Advantage now over. Run from Samo Vondre. Lamani, 40 metres out from the line. Tosso Drua. And between Lower Hutt and Wellington, says Scott Dawson. Have the Lions vs Black Ferns tickets gone on sale? Yeah, I think the Black Ferns will get destroyed. Will be cool to go. I haven't seen any information about tickets just yet. I think they were getting through the Rugby World Cup tickets and everything first. Where's the best pie in New Zealand? Ooh, that is a good question. The thing is, and I know that people would say like a Fairley pie, or I know there's quite a few good places in the North Island. One of the better pies that I have had was actually from Foursquare in Amarama. I don't know whether they're homemade there or whether they're brought in and maybe they're a different type of pie, but it was a really good pie. I had it over New Year's when I was driving home, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was looking through the sports events this year, and New Zealand are in 6 World Cups. 6. So which are they bad to the bone? They're Rugby League World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, FIFA World Cup, Hockey World Cup, maybe? Is there a Hockey World Cup taking place? Netball World Cup might also be happening soon. Oh, big scrum. Too much movement, says Ben O'Keefe, so we'll go back for a scrum reset. Still Hurricanes with the feed. Who do you think can win FIFA World Cup 2026? I actually don't know. To be fair, I haven't been following a lot of football throughout the last year or so, or maybe even the last 2 years. Tossa Drua, says Vinny. I just said there that they got hammered at scrum time, the FIJIAN DRUA last week. And New Zealand have qualified to go to the FIFA World Cup this year. They have. And we might be covering their games. Nothing been decided just yet. And WWE is struggling to sell tickets for WrestleMania despite selling 100,000 within a day last year. It's not promising for the US economy. They also are charging a huge amount for them. Like, eventually, it seemed like people were going to start going, you know what, we don't want to spend $30,000 on a front row ticket. Which is fair enough. Argentina or Spain for FIFA, I think, says Dylan. We're now ready to feed it in for the scrum. Cam Roygaard. This has been a long scrum. I should commentate New Zealand and the FIFA World Cup. I think if I do end up doing it, it would be New Zealand and probably South Africa's games, just because they are our two main audiences. Mrs. McConnell's, venison pie. I've never heard of Mrs. McConnell's. I know we have Mrs. Mac down this way. Now big Waikato pasta fihi whinia norfo. Going to charge down the wing. You can hear how wet it is. Through the referee's microphone of just the mud all slapping around. Oh, drop ball from Warner Dearns. Oh, clean pickup from Tanieri there. We have good there. I've never had a pie in South Island, unfortunately. I've had Ferg Burger. It was amazing. Now, Wanga, kick back in. Is Ferg Burger that one that recently opened up in the north? Trevor, they sold those 30,000 seats last year. Yeah, I feel like the interesting thing is I don't think there's as much interest in terms of the matches that are taking place this year. Kicked out on the full by Morby. AW is better than the WWE, says the Sporting Kiwi. And come on the draw, says Vinny there too. What would you pay for a ticket to a game like this? I think in Fiji, I want to say it's probably like about a $20 ticket. Somewhere around there. I know that Crusaders' home games from last year were about $85 for a decent seat. But it just depends on where you are and who they're playing normally. Going back to the right. Lamani. On in behind. Quick hands from Armstrong. Ravola. Going across to a Peli Momo now. Georgie Nasova. Cutting back in. I don't know about the product though. Says Big Rig. Who's your favourite Fijian rugby players in the 15s and the 7s? Pick a player who's playing currently and retired. I love watching Jerry Tuwai in the 7 setup. I also do quite enjoy Tareo Vailawa and what he's able to do for the 7s team. In terms of Union, it's tricky to pick guys outside of the ones playing currently. Who would I go with as the best? I like Tavita Ikanaveri, to be fair. He's grown on me a lot in terms of his work that he's put in throughout the last couple of years. It's a shame that the Draw don't have him at the moment, but or to be fair, you're like someone like a Tui Sova, it's pretty hard to not say someone like him. A Ferryberger in Queenstown. So here's a Sporting Kiwi. So it's expensive like South Africa. It depends on where it is. Some games are cheaper than others. Like the T20s, in terms of cricket-wise, which I feel like rugby can probably learn a little bit from the cricket, is Black Cats versus South Africa double-header in Christchurch, I think was $37 or something like that for the 2 matches back-to-back, which is pretty decent when you consider that's like 6 hours, maybe even 7 hours of cricket that you get to watch. Now going off Cam Roygaard to the short side to Asafua Moa. Oh no, it's just a boot. Never mind. I thought for a second there was a bit of an injury there. Looks like he's just thrown his boot to the side. Oh, Xavier Numia, I think, may have just done his ankle because of not having a boot on. Looks like he's all right to continue just for now, though. I hope Kieran Tomo Falau had a good game for the Chiefs reserves. So here's a Sporting Kiwi. Zaiwuka Liuwiri, he's dropped the ball too. The big knock on there from the Canes, who are struggling to hang on to this position at the moment. I never understood cricket, says Kay Slade. It is one of those ones that you got to watch quite a few games to get the hang of it, but once you do, it can be thoroughly enjoyable. Why did he take his boot off, says Big Rig? I think what it was actually some strapping around the top of his boot that he ripped off. Are you doing tonight's game? I assume tonight's game you're talking either Chiefs versus Crusaders or Brumbies versus Blues, and the answer is yes, we're doing both. World Rugby Cam, the 7th World Cup. The damn World Series, just read it. Yeah. Don't know why, to be fair. I feel like people would have still loved the 7th World Cup. But obviously, World Rugby doing World Rugby things decided that that's not what they wanted. Penny Ravai. He comes on as a tight head here and does replace Masaki Donge. Naked Rugby sounds dangerous and dangerotic, says Big Rig. Who knows? Maybe it's something that they play somewhere in the world and we haven't even heard about it. But surely you'd have to go bare feet for that, because or else that would hurt a lot if you got a rugby boot somewhere. I think Seven slept with World Rugby's wife, trying to destroy it for some reason, says Big Rig, and grounds in the Toka. Probably sloppy because it has been raining. Yeah, it was heavy downpour at the start of this game, and I have to say it is, once again, that levelling factor between these two sides. I don't think I'd completely rule the Draw out of this game yet. One more try for the Hurricanes, different story, but the Draw are now 13 points to 17. Still are within a little bit of a chance. Chiefs Development win 42 points to 26. And also we have got they did have lingerie American football. Had to stop because the girls kept getting hurt. So I imagine Naked Rugby would be much the same. I don't know why people want to understand cricket, says Bruiser. It's quite popular around the world. Some people don't understand why people like rugby. It just depends on what you're into. Did you watch the URC this morning? I saw the scores. Didn't watch the games though. I was coaching kids cricket during the time, but low scoring one between Leinster and Cardiff. Surprisingly, that's a tackle in the air, so the penalty awarded to the Canes around the halfway line. Looks like Billy Proctor wants to take this one quickly again, but told off. Told not to. Could we show the game and do commentary at the same time? We want to see the game. Sadly not. Any match footage or audio would get me taken straight off YouTube, whether I was doing the commentary by myself or not. The dirty little bugger had a fur burger. Cheers, Eek. What's the time remaining? Currently 32 and a half. Did I just hear that correctly? I think the Hurricanes are going for a shot at the post here. Why? Jordie Barrett, 58 metres out on the angle, wet, slippery conditions, has decided, you know what? 3 points. And I get it. Takes them out to 7. But I don't know why they've done this. As in cricket, the second most popular sport in the world in terms of eyeballs watching, that is true, yeah. Right, this is going to have to be a good strike from Jordie Barrett here. The red try yesterday was probably one of the best tries over the past decade. Says K Slade. Which one? Now lining it up. Jordie Barrett from distance. And he has got the distance on it. And tell you what, he's got the accuracy too, Jordie Barrett. Gets the kick straight over, 20 points to 13. And that's one of those situations it had to go over. Trying to take it down, copyright. Isn't that big of a deal? It's not so much Google. It's down to the actual ones who are doing it. Are you listening to or watching the game? So I am watching the game through Sky Sport. It is on Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand rather than Sky Sport 1. Now Armstrong Ravula again going for the cheeky grubber off the kickoff. It's been a very handy tactic for both of these sides throughout the match. Regard back into the pocket. Finds Jordie Barrett, who gives it a hoof downfield. Taken inside of the 22 for HURRICANES Drua. And great kick there, Jordie, says Hobbit. Taken now by Morby, interception. And it's Samu Vodre who scores it between the posts. The FIJIAN Drua are back to a level playing field, 20-20, with still plenty of time left on the clock. And it's smart play from Samu Vodre. Josh Morby, the mistake there, trying to go for the pass. And Geordie Flexen says Boderick. We're going to see it now. It was taken by Morby. He did all the hard work, but then just gave it away. And the Canes playing catch up there, trying to get to Samu Vodre. They didn't get that close. And Ray says, Vinny there, I bet 30 plus for the Hurricanes, says Sip, but that's not looking likely at the moment. I had it so he's a genius. If he missed it, then he's an idiot, says Big Rig. Well, it just seemed like a weird choice. And I guess this try now from the Drua makes it seem like an even stranger choice from the Canes, because all they were doing was giving themselves a 7-point lead. That's now been cut down to both sides equal. Second time, the other team scored instantly after conceding. Yeah, we did see the Canes do it to the Drua earlier on in this game. Now doing it themselves there, the Drua. So another 30 minutes remaining in this match too. And while the Drua men has try, what's conditioned at the moment? Very wet, very slippery, little bit flooded underfoot. And it now makes it very interesting. FIJIAN Drua, they are $3.80 underdogs, I do see. So in terms of winning percentages, that's probably about a 30% chance of winning this game. But it's a much bigger chance than they had early on. Good kickoff from the Hurricanes. Does manage to find the touchline with it. There aren't too many players out there on the field who aren't covered in mud and water at this point in time. See there, Ilya Thanakai Vata's gone off and Tuwai comes on. Nicely slapped back by the Drua. Nice little bit of pressure though coming in from the Canes. World Rugby can the Sevens World Cup because Great Britain and England never win it. That is better and gets bigger crowds than the Sevens World Series. Just chucked a massive... What does that mean? You picked it up and threw it? Josh Morby is a clumsy idiot. Says, what's up, guys? Yeah, the worst thing is he did well under the high ball first, didn't he? That one's gone into touch. It's territory game there for the Hurricanes. From the original kickoff, still 28 minutes left here. Question is, who's got the more momentum? Crowd, they have been loyal to this Drua side too, with the fact that they are sitting in a downpour for the first half. Looks like it's dried up a little bit in the second. That's a drop ball from its Iwaka Leowiri, but it's gone backwards to Peter Lakai. I'm back from the maul. Looks like I was right. I said second half the Drua would come back. I'll be all squared at 2020. Good prediction from me, says Josiah. And he scored the try for the Fijian Drua. The most recent try was scored by Tuidraki Samusama Vodre. Now Roigard goes off to the left. Looking for the support here. Peter Lakai. Did score earlier on. Contest. We have seen a real lack of Braden Yossi in this game, I will mention. For a man who was prominent throughout the last match. Another drop ball. This time it is Geordie Barrett who's had it slip through his fingertips. I'll go back for the knock on. I needed you, Ham. Had a job and got owned by the throne. Says Jared. Sounds like a sub is about to be made here again. And there's a Safua Moore who makes his way off. I was predicting the Fijians to get tuckered out after 60 and the Hurricanes to pull ahead and win by 10-ish. I'll see if I'm right, says Big Rig. You see, it's still anyone's game. 1 second. And like that as well. How the hell are you talking about? Says, what's up, guys? And thank you for this live stream. Says Vinny there. Yeah, still plenty more. This is the first of 5 for today that we are going to be covering. Looks like a change here. Who is that going off for the Fijians? That is Motokai Murray. He is one of the try scorers for this Fijian Drua side. And up the Saders, says Josiah. Tell us a joke. I don't actually know any good jokes. Not off the top of my head anyway. And I feel like everyone's heard every rugby joke out there. Did Kiwi Rob leave the stream? It just seems like he did. I assume that was because what happened? I can't even remember what happened as to why he headed away. Now, another line-out chance. Oh, sorry, scrum feed chance. The far side of the field. You were doing great, Hamish, says Vinny. And Buller says, Serena, welcome in. Hope you are doing well. Lamani, he might get quite close to the full time out there on the park today. Because Kiwi Rob is a moody person, says, what's up, guys? Now, Lamani goes into the middle of the field to Tabula Val. Oh, loose ball. Picked up by the Canes again. Roiga looking to the short side. Chips it in behind. This one will pull up again, just short of the in-goal area. Oh, Isaiah Armstrong Ravula under a lot of pressure there. Why is Bearded Barrett so tall? Bearded Barrett. You talking Bowden or you talking Geordie or Scott? I think all the Barrett boys are relatively tall. Idea loose ball far out, says Vinny. It's been a lot of drops throughout this game, but it is equal for both sides. Now Roigard off to the right goes to Braden Yossi. Motomera obviously. Says, what's up, guys? It's going to be a knock on now from the Canes too. It's going to probably come down to who doesn't drop the ball more throughout the last 25 minutes. I said there that the heavy rain has stopped, but there is still a lot of weather that they are dealing with here. And that water is just not going to disappear. Possession 52% for the Hurricanes, 54% territory, but 4 minutes and 40 seconds of Hurricanes with ball in hand. I didn't understand. That's the rumour going around. He said that he was quite surprised by said rumour. I certainly did, says Jared. Boy, blame the weather, Hammy? Or Hamish? I think both sides will, for the amount of handling errors they have had throughout this game. It's got to be 10 apiece at this stage. But I said it at the start of the game, and I'll say it again. The weather has been an equaling factor in this game. And it has given the Fijian Drua a really good chance. Oh, is that kicked out on the full? Yes, it was. Big mistake from Lamani. The coach in training, or is training the Welsh team. Ask everyone to assume their normal position so they all stand behind the goalpost and wait for the conversion. And I was like, I don't get it. Says, what's up, guys? What's your nickname, Ham? I don't know. It depends on who you talk to. I just normally just allow whatever within reason. It's got to be close to my name, but there's been a few. Oh, stolen there by the drawer at line-out time. Now moving away to the right. Big attack and run forward to the 40-metre line from Kitione Salawa. Lamani Frank come down. A lot of hands on hips in this weather, says Wade. And we've got to remember humidity as well they are dealing with. So, you're looking at 27 degrees with 87% humidity and a fast-paced game of rugby between these two sides. They're going to go back for the initial penalty by the sounds of it. Oh, no, going back for the knock-on. It's going to be scrum feed now for the Hurricanes. Who was the fourth Barrett brother that was meant to be good? I think it was Kane Barrett, wasn't it? Is his name Kane? There's a fine line between success and failure in English international rugby. It's called Hadrian's Wall. Hamish the Spam, says Josiah. And also we've got there's a fine line. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? I think I missed one. Oh, how's your mum and George doing? Mum's doing good. George is doing all right. He actually we went down and watched a bit of cricket today. So he doesn't like cricket, but he still came along. And Zakai has said, yes, Kane, he played for the Blues. How many brothers does Bowden Barrett have? I think he's got, is it 3 or 4 brothers and a couple sisters too? And ball's in again for the Canes. Looks like we're due for something big to happen. Another reset. Has been a far from smooth second half, though, in terms of handling. In fact, I think that halftime break has actually made it harder. Do assistants play rugby? Not that I know of. How many minutes to go? Still another 23 in this contest. I've decided to shuffle the chair forward so that I can sit back a little bit while we wait for these resets to take place. But, yeah, it's not an easy day for a prop either. We've got to remember they are dealing with a lot of slippery conditions. Alf Stewart had the best nickname. The Barretts have an autistic sister. She must be spoiled. I know that they have a Down syndrome sister. I'm not sure if they've got an autistic one. You need caffeine, says JP. It's anyone's game, says Jasmine. Absolutely. Can easily go either way. And talking cricket, how did the Kiwis get on in T20 versus England? Says Andrew Harris. Well, their net run rate took a little bit of a pounding, but there's still a chance they go to the semis. Now, I kicked him behind. Oh, sliding forward there, the Drua, just 2 meters short. England won. I should drink some coffee so that you don't yawn. I think it's just because I haven't had anything to eat since breakfast. That probably hasn't helped in terms of the tiredness levels. Now Lamani, back into the pocket, goes to Isaiah Armstrong, Ravula. Does manage to find touch with it. Thought about the quick throw there for Natunani Punivai, but decides against it. Cricket is buns, mate, says Rugby Lad. Rugby is better. Depends on who you talk to, though. I feel like there's a place for both of them, though. Very different sports. He's the least known brother for Blake Barrett. Have you shaved for the Chiefs game? I'll tell you the best nickname. You probably call me Nick White if I have the mustache that you want me to for the next one. That's going to be claimed off the back of the line out for Peter Larkai. Now, Geordie Barrett, good low tackle on him by Tuwai. Oh, Devery cut straight through. That's a huge gap. And he almost created, but Frank Lamani manages to shut him down. Now Harkin goes off to the left. Billy Proctor tries to kick him behind. Oh, and they've given that one away, the Hurricanes. After the knock-on advantage has ended. How many times have you said depends on who you're talking to? Probably a few. Now we have there rugby and rugby league. Number 1 and number 2 best sports, says Johnny. Basically, Pakistan have to beat Sri Lanka by 63. Win within 13 overs to deny New Zealand a semi. Once again, it could have an all big slide there for Geordie Barrett. Looks very slippy out there at the moment, which is one of the big reasons why we've seen so many handling errors. What do you think of Kiwis playing in the state of origin? Are they? It wouldn't make much sense to me, seeing as it's state of origin and New Zealand's not a state. And that one's going to be going in to touch a knock on from the Canes. Right, out by Golden, we are going to have now the water break. I think both of these sides probably swallowed a fair amount of water out there on the field as soon as you have your mouth open while sliding on the ground. And like my neighbour. 2 brothers, one played for Transvaal and the other played for Northern Transvaal. Mum did a lot of riding as it's 60 kilometres away And I don't feel like, I don't really like cricket, but my dad loves it. So I feel defensive about it, says Big Rig. Mitchell Satner is stupid. New Zealand cricket will never win a Cricket World Cup, so better stick with rugby, says Kiwi Lad. Or sorry, says Rugby Lad, I should say. I don't watch it. New Zealand won't win the T20 World Cup. Yeah, although they're still not doing too bad. In fact, that might actually be the Barrett's sister in the stands there. Because that is Bowden Barrett and Geordie Barrett's dad. So there might be one of the Barrett sisters in the stands. Maybe every time I listen to you, some bring up the cricket topic. I wonder why. Says Vinny. I feel like it's just because cricket's quite popular, isn't it? Plus, it's currently very relevant with the World Cup. That man's drinking some Carver in the stands. And also, we've got their 4 brothers, Kane, Scott, Jordan, and Blake. 5 boys in total and 3 sisters, Jenna, Ella, and Zara. And as well as between Scotland and England, says Zakaya. And the Black Cats playing in Wellington next month. They are, and they are also playing in Christchurch, which I think I'm going to be going to since it's a midweek game. Are we watching live? So watching on Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. We see there the game tracker at the moment. Other than those 2 tries scored in quick succession for the Hurricanes in the first half, everything else has been back and forth between these 2 sides. Still 20 minutes left. And 20 points to 20. The way that it says, where do you live? I live in the South Island, halfway between Christchurch and Dunedin. I've just said there, whoever sticks it out for the next 20 minutes will win this game. Just don't watch cricket. Don't Black Caps a dusty team. They will never win a cricket tournament. They will be like Tottenham every tournament. Just wait for the All Blacks and the All Whites, or the All Blacks were struggling to win games at times too, haven't they? And now they've got rid of their coach, who at least can't bottle. They did lose the last final, the All Blacks, but I get what you're saying. Although I think the Chinese would laugh at how puny it is. What are we talking about? The 15-foot wall. Oh, okay. As ever, the biggest joke is in cricket, says Bad to the Bone. And Father Barrett has done an awesome job as a dad. Well done, mate legend. At least they have won a Rugby World Cup, says Rugby Lad. Yeah, although New Zealand have won quite a few other things. They've won the World Test Championship, which is quite a significant one, the first ever inaugural champions. Some pretty impressive series as well. 86 Nations on, or only for next week? Next week, we have got round 4 and then round 5 the week after. I'm a Blenheim girl, went to Targo Uni, says Zakaya there. See, quite a few of people where I am, they do normally head down south rather than up north. Who would you pick in a game? A combined Super Rugby team and a combined United Rugby Championship team? So you're talking like a full 23 from each comp? That'd be a pretty difficult one to decide on, I think. And would cause a lot of arguments. Tommy Falau was born and bred in Blenheim, so Tonga poached him off New Zealand, says Johnny. And then the women's after that, says Big Rig. The NRL also confirmed an Origin match. Oh yeah, no, the Origin match is going to be played in New Zealand, just not by a New Zealand side. It's going to be still Queensland versus New South Wales. Flanders will make his way off. Shields goes on for the Canes. Time is now being turned back on. Thrown in. Well taken at line-out time. It's not easy to do in these conditions. What's happening on the field? There was the 3-minute water break for these 2 sides. But now we are back underway. At least All Whites can at least get some glory winning Oceania Cup in football, whilst this dusty team Black Caps lose to finished England team. Okay, so you're saying the All Whites won a competition that isn't a World Cup, and you're saying that that's comparative to the All Blacks who have won the World Cup and not comparative to the Black Caps who won the World Test Championship, right? So we're just picking and choosing what ones we acknowledge teams for. We have got the Hurricanes are doing quite well, says Liverpool, though they do need one more big moment, and now the FIJIAN DRUA, they are on attack. 35 metres out from the lines, finds Leliawasa, gets a couple fins going. And does make 5 extra post-contact metres in the process too, even though I like State of Origin, I have to say it should stay in Oz. Yeah, although I do like the idea of a neutral territory, but I feel like it should have been a neutral territory in Australia. So, you have Queensland, you have New South Wales, and then you stick the 3rd game in Perth or something like that, just to maybe entice a new audience, or somewhere else that's kind of more neutrally located. A water break for 3 minutes. A nervous run the both teams, and if the Hurricanes score, We all will shout in excitement, although the FIJIAN DRUA have looked a little bit more likely to score in just the last couple of minutes. Josh Morby tackled on the ground. Counter ruck there from the DRUA, just losing the footing. Okay, there's going to be an advantage for playing the 9. I know I'm Benny Barrett. The Euro also confirmed State of Origin match will be played in New Zealand in 2027. Euro has made the biggest change to State of Origin. Ex-player Vaughan at this World Cup said New Zealand pound for pound are the best cricket nation in the world. Probably the same for all sports, says Bad to the Bone. Now 16 minutes left. This one still could go either way. Well and truly. Lamani with that little bit of the counter ruck. He actually overwent or overplayed it. Did go in front of the breakdown. Left the chance for the Hurricanes to still be able to play the ball. Playing against Belgium will be a big game in the FIFA World Cup, says Liverpool fan. I think it's kind of like the Tonga vs Samoa thunderstorm break. Or this is kind of like, says. What's up, guys? Now, Isaiah Armstrong Ravula, I think he's still out there at the moment. They did go with that 6-2 split, and we did see the change of Rabitu earlier on. Let's go to the draw. Just one more try before the final whistle. It's strange to me to bring the State of Origin match to New Zealand. Maybe it's about trying to get more disgruntled rugby union fans to switch to league. Yeah, maybe. And I guess there are a lot of people in New Zealand who have a State of Origin team. So that side of it makes sense in some regards. But yeah, I do like the idea of it being neutral for the third game, though. So, like, whether that's in Australia or eventually I think there might be even a USA game of State of Origin. If they're having the NRL opening round, if they pay enough money, I think they might take them over there. The guy who always bets on draws, be on the edge of his seat, says Big Rig. Let's go the draw. Just one more try before the final whistle. Nicely taken by Shields in the line out. Nicely taken by HURRICANES DRUA Sisi. Across to Isaiah Armstrong Ravola. And a good kick downfield. He's doing some coverage, FIFA World Cup. We are looking at possibly doing some. The same with the T20 World Cup. Should also do Premier League coverage. You'll get some more viewers. We did a Premier League stream a while ago as a little bit of a tester. It was actually on the backup Kiwi Lad Sport channel. And the only ones who watched it didn't actually like football. They were just watching because I was live. But yeah, Premier League's definitely not my forte. Like, I'll watch maybe one game a month if I'm lucky. So I definitely wouldn't have any sort of expertise on it. Can't wait for the Origin. Let's go Queensland, says Johnny Blaze. Big run up the middle now. Oh, a big driving tackle too there. Now a bit of a counter from the Hurricanes. Ball still on the side. Finds Leleoasa though. No tackle made on Tinieri. I still don't understand. We don't have a regular 3-game North versus South. I would help keep a lot of players who can't play for the All Blacks in New Zealand as well. Yeah, see, that North versus South one-off game that they had was absolutely awesome. And then they've never gone back to it. Now, back line, over the top to, I think that's going to be HURRICANES DRUA Sisi fighting himself out on the wing. And Tossa Drua, says Jim. Currently, the draw, they are on the attack as Armstrong Ravola. Big cutout pass, great hands from Penny Ravai. Passes on the outside. The drawer in the corner, they score the try. And that is a big try right there in the shape of this game. It is a Tony Awanga who gets in. The Fijian 7 side celebrating in the stands too. That is a big game-changing moment. Try, says Zakaria. Says Zakaya. And we have, are you going to stop supporting the Black Caps? Somehow they managed to get into the semis but then lose again? No, I'll probably still, I'm still going to watch them play in March. We have my mind jump to that Simpsons scene where Americans go to Portugal versus Mexico football game. Are just bored out of their minds. We have got their, my prediction was off, says Big Rig. The North versus South game would be mean, says K Slade. That is a brilliant finish from Tony Awanga. And the FIJIAN DRUA, they take the lead. Ouch, there goes my $2,000, says William. Although game not over yet. It's a tough kick. Out by the sideline here. Come on, the Hurricanes. Says Johnny Blaze. That one's missed away to the side. So it keeps these sides separated by just the 5 points. Hurricanes. Says Queensland, you're stream late. Says Ashniel. Normally it's about a 30-second delay from the Sky. Just because of Sky Sport now. I think you already tried. Well, I do appreciate the fact that you didn't give it away, though. It is greatly appreciated. And Drua, says Xander. Now 25-20. 12 minutes remaining. Why would somebody stop watching a team just because they get beaten by another team? Too bandwagon for my liking, says Zakaya. But there are people like that. People will literally go, like, I'm supporting a team when they're winning. As soon as they lose, they go to another team. Oh, big clean out. And the breakdown from the Canes. The Black Caps usually lose in the final. Done it about 4 times this decade. You know who else has done that too, though? The South Africans. So if they play each other in the semis, in fact, if they somehow play each other in the final, then that will mean no matter what, someone who normally loses in finals would have to win, which would be kind of cool in a way. Now going off to the left-hand side. Harkin fires it on now to Peter Lakai. Drop ball. All the voice doesn't like that. Did 4 hours of the commentary yesterday. Still about 9 hours to come. That's why it's so impressive Wales rugby fans are still so passionate. Absolutely. Like, no side, I believe, would get supported the way that Wales do if they were losing as much as they were. Like, that's something that I think is just a massive, like, positive for this Welsh team. Honestly, if Hamish was a bit too serious to sports, he would have stopped supporting this dusty team when they lost again West Indies to T20 World Cup 2024. It kind of sounds like you just quit on your sides a bit too early, Liverpool fan. Like Liverpool, if they lost every game, would you ditch them or would you keep and stick by them? Tosa Drua, a sheik from Auckland. They're currently up by 5 with 10 minutes left. I think if Fiji get a penalty close to goal, they should take the 3. I agree. It would give them the 8-point lead. They were able to do so. The Leve Mira makes his way on. To be honest, I'm a bandwagon Broncos fan. I only like them because of Reece Walsh and Payne Haas. Now I need Canes to score 12 points without getting any scored against them. And the Kiwis aren't fake supporters. See, is bad to the bone. Now around the halfway. Tackle and releases the call. Although it's on the side of the Canes. Jacob Devery was set a little bit high. Hi, mate, says Caleb Welcomen. Only we've had a bit of a hectic game so far. Penalty awarded to the Hurricanes. We support through the good and the bad. And Tosa Drua Toso says Laitiana. And the Hurricanes can't win every game. It does work like that. Yeah, they were big favourites heading into this game. But I've said it once. I've said it probably 5 times by now. The weather can be so unpredictable. And the handling that we've seen from the Hurricanes here has been far from their best. Same with the Draw. But the Draw have taken their chances. And that one big interception that they managed to get and score off seems like it might be the difference here. Hurricanes can't win every game. It doesn't work that way. And weren't people claiming the Hurricanes are favourites? Not me. Will be a Chiefs versus Brumbies final. Wales have great fans. Wales have been playing much better. The Six Nations, a few close results. All ball pops out on the side of the FIJIAN Drua there. Chiefs exposed the Hurricanes in pre-season, says the Sporting Kiwi. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Frank Lamani in open space goes for the kick in behind. It's curling, but it will pull up again just like most have throughout this matchup. Morby. It's through one challenge. So inside of their own half here, the Canes. Geordie Barrett passes to Fehi Whinian Nofo running down the wing for Punivai. I want to lose Drua as our team. Tosa Drua, says Xander. Oh, Drua told to get out of there. 8.5 minutes left. Hamish watches sport too much. He should try some KFC. I would happily try some KFC. Although I did learn that the hot and spicy boneless is too hot for myself. In terms of my spice tolerance. Or a big driving tackle from Tuedraki Samo Vodre. Oh, that was almost a steal for Georgie Nasova. They need to upgrade their grounds if they're going to host Super Rugby games. And then they need to bring their grounds into the 20s. Says Hartley. And they relieve Roygaard just relieve Roygaard's not injured. Looks like Eri Tara Eneri. Box kick is coming. Into the 22, Armstrong Ravola. Great take from him. Now can slow this one down. I hate the spicy KFC. Says bad to the bone. Are you spice intolerant? I wouldn't say I'm intolerant to spice. I just can't handle spice. Which I guess in some ways is the same thing, isn't it? I want to try New Zealand KFC. And New Zealand is nice and chill. And whether Brumbies the better team or Crusaders made a lot of mistakes, Brumbies were the much better team. Although Crusaders did also make a lot of mistakes. Which is what makes their game up against the Chiefs so intriguing now. Just around the corner, Devery, big driving tackle on Brad. Shields by Lamani. FIJIAN DRUA, they are playing in this game like they want to win at that ball. It's an advantage against Tuwai. They're still doing the races against the KFC Colonel. No, they got rid of that, I think. Or at least they have from what I have seen. I think they realised how rigged it was last year. Subway get fresh. Says Hobbit. Drainage Fiji, get your fields up to the grade. Those conditions are rubbish. Says Hartley, although you've got to play to the conditions, and Fiji have certainly done that here. May I ask, please, referee from where? From New Zealand, Ben O'Keefe. Right, Hurricanes now have a chance. Go for 3, but they're turning it down and going for the corner. You try KFC in Saudi Arabia? I mean, I'd like to kick... have I tried? Yeah, I've tried Australian KFC. That's the only other place in the world that I've had KFC from. I've seen Nepal at KFC Saturday at lunchtime. He had a game for the Chiefs that night. Bro was eating KFC with the skin on. No surprise, he had a bad game that night. Let's talk about food, guys. Now Devery to throw it in. 15 metres out from the line. FIJIAN DRUA, they do still lead. Nicely taken by Isaiah Walker, Leowiri. They hang on to all the Hurricanes. Avoid a handling error. And create a good attacking chance. Told to use it once. The KFC is no different. I'm in Abu Dhabi and it's the same as back home, says Zakai. That's going to be knocked on again by the Hurricanes. Now Iritara Iniri has to retreat to the halfway line. He's knocked that ball on too. Finds Leliawasa. Driven into touch. The ball is still playable. Proctor does decide against it. We have got there Mawus. When it comes to spices, I love a chicken tikka masala, but I can't handle vindaloo or red hot chili, says Big Rig. And how many countries have you been to? 3, including New Zealand. And Pepper's yuck, says bad to the bone. And butter chicken, says Johnny Blaze. And now down to 5 minutes. Harkin's been taken off for Lucas Cashmore. This is a big opportunity for this young man because he is coming in with a huge amount of pressure to get something going right from the get-go. Thoughts on the push to depower the scrums? It's interesting. I do think some games have too many scrums, but I also do think that scrums are a pivotal part of the game of rugby. So it's a tricky one. But like a game with 20 scrums, I think is too many. But a game that has no scrums would not feel the same. Keep scrums and ban the box kick, says the Sporting Kiwi. And how many countries have you been to, says Zakai to K Slade. Are there any Fijian playing in the Hurricanes? They haven't got Salisi Reasi anymore, unfortunately for them. They'd love to have him the way that he's been playing for Bordeaux. Cross kick there, knock on from Natunani Punivai. Knock-ons are going to really hurt the Hurricanes' chances here. And keep the scrum, take away the boring rolling maul. Sprinkle a bit on your meal, but not too much for the scrums like salt. A little bit, I'd say. But then some people absolutely love when you have 20 scrums in a game. Normally they're ex-props, because props love a scrum. And Kenny Naholo says Demon the 11th. And bro, the game doesn't need to change. They need to stop messing with the laws. I'm glad nothing happened at their conference. LB, I'll ask you a question, because of course you watch a little bit more South African rugby than myself. What do you think of is it the Varsity Cup now, how if you score a try, you have another attack? What do you think of that one? I feel like that's a little bit too American football for my liking, in terms of compared to rugby. We have got there, Harkin has been the Canes' best big future, that kid, says Hartley. And big meaty men slapping meat, to quote Big E, says Big Rig. We're with this win, put the draw on the table. So currently the way that they sit, 1 second. Go like this. Currently the Drua are sitting in 9th. With a win here, they won't have a bonus point from this game. That would push them up to, they would actually go to 3rd in the overall standings. They would go ahead of the Chiefs. Because, oh, wait, no, never mind. Points differentials worse. They'll go 4th. My apologies. I was looking at the wrong column. I was looking at bonus points rather than differential. So, yeah, they go to 4th. I don't like it, but it probably won't make it to international rugby. Says LB. And chicken is cheaper than meat in New Zealand now. I know why. I see a lot of chicken curry shops, chicken pies in the cities. We already have league, says Titanium, and off to the Chiefs game, says supporting Kiwi. So hopefully it is a good match. We might hear from you a little bit later on, but currently 3.5 minutes in this game. Isaiah Walker-Leawedi. That was the wrong name. I meant to say finds Leleawasa to put this ball in. Oh, it's a big scrum from the Canes, but too much movement. Chicken is cheaper than me. I just went with it. I didn't correct it. And Hamish, you should come to Canada. Do you have good... You guys have Popeyes in Canada, right? Does Tim Hortons have chicken? I feel like if I was to go anywhere, I'd just end up putting on like 10 kgs from trying all the fast food. Are there Crusader supporters behind me, says Jasmine. You need to do professional and wear pants during these lives, please. Thank you. How do you know I don't have pants on? You are right, though. I don't have pants on. I have shorts. Now finds Leleawasa. Costa Armstrong. Ravula partially charged down by Lucas Cashmore. Another knock on, though, from the Hurricanes. Currently on the halfway line. 2.5 minutes remaining. I actually have a question. What's going on with England? They've had a couple rough games. I don't think it's the end of England or anything like that. Some people have been really trying to kind of paint that narrative, but they'll be back. This guy wasn't here when Hamish was wearing suits every live, says LB. Yeah, it's almost too warm this time of year to do that. Oh, 50-22 attempted by Isaiah Armstrong Ravula. I think the Hurricanes are now in that realisation period that they need something in the next 2 minutes, but they are still kicking the ball back into the hands of the FIJIAN Drua. Eliza Drua, CC, knock on from the Canes again. Proctor kicks it into the stands out of frustration. I think Ben O'Keefe has just taken the piss out of Eliza Drua, CC, sorry. He was, after Proctor kicked it away, saying to the referee that should have been a penalty. I wanted to take it quickly, and Ben O'Keefe did say it was going to be a scrum, so you weren't going to take that one too quickly at all. Why the Drua kicking the ball away? Yeah. Why are the Hurricanes? I think that both of these sides are playing a little bit of a territory game that they probably shouldn't with this much time remaining. This kind of score gave us a heart attack, says Vinny, but the time is now off. Less than 90 seconds left. This could be a big finish. Sounds like a prison soap session. And World Rugby Board all those rules and laws in around 2026. Try and stem AB's dominance. Says bad to the bone. When I return home on holiday, there's two things I always get into pie and an LMP. It's like England copy the box with everything. Are at a point where much said England are probably going to lose. I propose of nothing. Says Big Rig. Oh, sorry, that was LB. I knew something was up. When at the start of last year, Jamie George pretty much said England are going, or probably going to lose. Of nothing, says Big Rig. Yeah, the best damage, says Moa Hunters. This Fijian Drua, they want to put their best foot forward for the final 90 seconds of this game. They have got the scrum feed, so all they need to do is get this ball in, get it out, and, well, actually, they'll probably have a couple phases in between. But more than likely, we're going to have a scrum reset. We've had a lot of them throughout this matchup. Well, anything can happen. Yeah, that is true. Could see the scrum penalty go the way of the Hurricanes here. When the Canes started throwing to the back of the line out, in these conditions, you know there was it was going to be close. Yeah, it just hasn't been a strategic plan from the Canes to a certain extent. Interesting Super Rugby. It seems like a change-up. Why are the Kiwi teams leading and kicking the ball away? Says Biesman. Yeah, I mean, the Highlanders, perfect example of that. They just seem lost in their game up against the Reds. Although the guy who plays centre for England is best 13 I've seen in a while, so that's Ollie Lawrence, I assume. And I know I picked the Canes, says Invincibles. And it was that Ben O'Keefe taking a piss at. Says, what's up, guys? Right, ball is in for the Drua. 45 seconds left. The Hurricanes, they need a turnover. I think the sun's coming out in Latoka. So anyone tuning in now would wonder what has happened to the field in the earlier stages, but it was a downpour. Kiwi teams a bang average this year. Canes a cook. Nice win, Drua. Says more gruel. Why is everyone surprised? Drua has beaten the Hurricanes before. They have. And now, that's close to the turnover. Peter Lakai told to get out of it. Ball stolen by the Hurricanes. 18 seconds remaining. And they've got a counter-attacking chance to win them this game. Cashmore goes out to Natunani Punavai. What a tackle by Frank Lamani. The Drua almost on the ball. It comes out the back for Braden Yossi. Drop the ball backwards. Plays it again. 2 Drua players in the breakdown. Make it 3 and 4. Told to get out of there though. There's still a chance here. At the end of this game, Cashmore, that's a cheap shot. And I think this might be an advantage now in favour of the Hurricanes. Billy Proctor thought about going inwards. He's knocked the ball on. And that will end the game. The Fijian Drua winning Latoka. And they pick up their first win of the season. How much time is left? There is now no time left. The Drua victorious. The Canes, they looked in control at times in the first half. But the conditions, the drop balls, they definitely made this one a lot closer than some thought. And it brought quite the second half for the Drua. 25-20 though. It is a brilliant win. I think Razor should return to the status. He might consider it eventually, but I think he'll go overseas for the big money first. New Zealand's cooked. Says Bailey Davis and home crowd helps too. That is true. Currently, the way that it sits, New Zealand sides have not got themselves a win in this round. But the good news is, no matter what, someone has to win in that Chiefs versus Crusaders game, unless, of course, it is a draw. Vanaka Drua says Sheik there. And also, we've got there, Drua got this one, sorry, mate. Says Xander and Pharrell. I draw one by the skin of their teeth. My, says Broderick there. And it perfectly shows why Super Rugby is so unpredictable and anything can happen out there on the field. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got another game taking place in around 23 minutes' time. That'll be the contest between the Chiefs and the Crusaders, followed by Blues Brumbies. We're going to be covering both of them on the channel as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much. I will see you all for the next one.